Welcome back. Singapore has been called a cleaned nation, not a clean one. And with a 70,000-strong troop of cleaners, it's no wonder. The National Environment Agency says there's been a drop in the number of littering summons issued. A stepped-up cleaning regime is one of the reasons for that. But how else can Singapore stay litter-free? Kimberly Spikerman with more in this week's Spotlight.
It's 7 a.m. and the cleaners in this Tampines estate have already got their work cut out for them. Cleaner Faisal Hanan has been working in the estate for 3 years. He says cigarette butts and used tissues are items that he comes across each day.
Sometimes I sweep ready, people throw again. And like this, I get very angry.
But sometimes residents go overboard.
People throw sometimes flower pot upstairs, sometimes throw beer bottle, glass bottle. I scared, sometimes I scared.
Tampines Member of Parliament Bae Yam King was prompted to act after soiled diapers were repeatedly found at the foot of one block of flats. Mr. Bae knocked on the door of every unit, 12 floors in all, to track the culprit.
I picked it up. I can feel that it's still a bit warm, so I gather it was just thrown recently. So among the units I visited, 3 families have babies. So I asked them, I said, this is what I found downstairs and I think it's very irresponsible, so I just want to remind residents not to do so.
Though none of the 3 families owned up, soiled diapers were no longer found at the same spot after that. Mr. Bae plans to take action to the next level. After getting complaints about rubbish bags being dumped at lift landings and common areas, he wants to work with the town council to sift through the bags to find clues, such as mail, to determine who discarded them and then educate their owners about not littering.
I also hope that as a society, we can develop this civic consciousness and exert that kind of social pressure so that the litter bugs feel very awkward and that all eyes are watching him when he does something of that sort.
According to the National Environment Agency, there's been a drop in the number of littering tickets issued over the past couple of years. Now in 2011, the number of littering tickets issued was about 11,000. In 2012, this number dropped to about 8,000, and by end October 2013, it was about 6,000. But the NEA says this is due to a mix of factors that include a stepped-up cleaning regime and better bin infrastructure to keep areas clean, as well as increasing the visibility of its enforcement officers and enhancing community outreach efforts to deter littering. The authorities kicked off the community volunteer scheme last year. Under it, volunteers are trained to book and report litterbugs to the National Environment Agency or NEA for investigation. Next, plans to amend the legislation to empower the Volunteer Corps of Environment Protection Officers to book and issue offenders with summonses on the spot. Currently, there are some 100 community volunteers who say most litterbugs comply when approached, although occasionally they meet with difficult situations.
There was one particular offender who refused to listen to the advice, and so particulars were obtained and we charged that person in court. And as it turned out, when we checked through our records, that particular individual was actually a recalcitrant offender. So we sent him to court, and the court fined him $500 and imposed on him 3 hours of corrective work order.
The government is also looking into enhancing penalties for litterbugs. But these efforts could come to naught if the anti-littering message is not reinforced from a young age.
There were occasions when in a hawker center, they make a mess. And then the kids drop something on the floor, and the kids want to pick up, the parents say, oh, no, don't do that, dirty yourself. Let the cleaner do it. I'm sorry, that is a wrong way to bring up a child.
Still, when it comes to deterrence, Mr. Liak says there simply isn't enough of it.
Today, if you watch around, the frequency of you being caught while you're littering is so low that frankly those who litter, they don't even worry when they litter. I think we need to step up the enforcement so that the frequency of these people being caught is so high that at least they worry before they litter.
He also suggests enhancing the deterrent effort of corrective work orders by making culprits perform them where they live so that their neighbours can see them being punished. Still, it will take more than deterrence and enforcement for Singapore to clean up its act. In that aspect, Mr. Liak says Singapore falls behind countries like Japan and Korea, which stay clean even though there are fewer trash bins and cleaners.
Very often, if there's somebody accidentally drops something on the floor, in Japan it's very common to see the average Japanese walking by, they will bend down and will pick it up. All right? And very often they can't find the dustbin, they will put it in their pocket and bring home to throw it away.
But not everyone might be receptive to this.
Depends on the litter. If it's like tissue paper, I don't think I would because it may be dirty. If it's like packet of something, probably.
If it's really clean and there's a litter, I would pick it up. But if it's litter all over, then I don't think I would do it.
I would do so because I just think it's not right. The place is clean and you dirty it, so there's someone else cleaning after you.
A sociological study on littering behaviour commissioned by the NEA in 2009 found that about 60% of those surveyed always bin their rubbish, while about 36% are what you might call situational binners, which means they bin their rubbish only when it's convenient. Now that's the good news. The bad news, experts say there will always be a small but unfortunately visible minority who insist on throwing their trash anywhere they feel like it. So what makes this minority act the way they do?
It's not their home, so why should they take care of the environment they're in? The other and similar reason would be complacency. It's sometimes just easier to litter, right, than to look for a trash bin.
There's no one way to sweep up Singapore's litter problem. Even as the government looks towards ramping up efforts to deter litter bugs, it will amount to little if mindsets don't change. This means having the gumption to pressure those who litter into picking up after themselves and even picking up trash that doesn't belong to you.